Hey everyone, I'm Jay Sones, and in this video I'm going to show you how to train blacksmithing skill with razor scripts directly from town using your bank box. We'll cover how to get items out of your bank using restock agents, how to make sure you have the correct items using counts, how to craft the correct item for skill gain using conditional gump selections, and how to recycle those crafted materials. Hopefully you were able to create an amazing mining script with the help from my previous videos, and you're sitting on a ton of ingots. To get started, we're going to head over to Horseshoe Bay, and we'll need to make sure we get two things into our banks: the smith hammers and ingots. The reason why we want to be in Horseshoe Bay is because it's the only town that has a forge and an anvil in the range of our bank. Make sure that you are on a saved profile. That way any hotkeys we set will be saved to that profile. I went ahead and bought a bunch of smith hammers, as you can see down here, 40 of them to be precise. We're going to first set up an organizer agent to move all the hammers into one bag so that we can put that bag in our bank box. Head on to the Agents tab, click on Organizer 3. We're going to say Add Target, target a smith hammer, set hot bag, target our bag that's behind here, and click Organize Now. Should take a few moments, but this allows us to move all the hammers into one bag with one button. We have my ingots here. We have our hammers. Let's use a restock agent to make sure that we have ingots and a smith hammer on our character. To do this, we'll head over to the Agents tab yet again. Scroll down to Restock Agent 3. We'll say Add Target. We'll click a smith hammer. Enter amount 1. OK. Click Add Target. We'll target our ingots. We'll just go ahead and say 100 for now. OK. And then if we restock now, it will say target a container to restock from, or target yourself to use your bank box. Let's create the script now. Head on over to the Scripts tab. We're going to say Add New Category. We'll call it Crafting. From here, we'll click on Crafting, say New, Smith. The first thing we'll want to do is say Restock 3. Wait for target. And then hotkey, target, self. Save. Now if we play this, this will actually run the agent and target ourselves. Now correctly have a smith hammer and ingots on our character. Now that we're able to get the smith hammer and the ingots, we'll want to double click the smith hammer. In order to do this, let's find the ID of the hammer by greater than info. The ID is 5091. Click the blue box. So after waiting half a second, after the restock agent, we'll do D-click type 5091. If we leave this as is, it will actually try to double click a smith hammer that's in our backpack or our bank box. So we want to add the backpack keyword here to make sure we only look in our backpack. Let's learn about gump menus and scripts. When you double click the smith hammer or any other crafting tool, it pulls up a crafting gump. If I hit play on here, you'll see this is what the crafting gump looks like. All crafting gumps have the same ID of 94, 90, 95, 101. In order for our script to run smoothly, we'll add a waitforgump with the ID to our script. Waitforgump 94, 90, 95, 101. You can potentially use a waitforgump any here, but I found using the ID makes the script run smoothly. Since all crafting gumps use the same base ID, we just need to learn the layout of how Gump Response buttons are ordered. We'll start on the left side and work our way down. The category here starts at 100. So for blacksmithing, ring mail armor is 100, chainmail is 101, plate mail is 102. To test this, we can add a Gump Response to our script. The first thing we're going to do to make this script rerunnable is add a Gump Close to the very top. If I click Save and Play, correctly closes the gump and reloads it. So we'll head on down to line 8, where we wait for gump. We will say Gump Response of 101, which should pull us into the chainmail armor. So let's hit Save, Play. Now that we have a category selected, the options here start at 200 or 300. For example, if we wanted to craft a chainmail gorget right away, we can use Gump Response 200. But if we wanted to see the options there are, we could use 300. Before adding Gump Response 200, We need to add a wait for Gump 94, 90, 95, 101 because every click of the button reloads the Gump. A lot of scripts get stuck because they don't use the correct wait times. Using wait for Gump 94, 90, 95, 101 should solve a lot of those issues. Let's try and view more details of the Gorget from script by using 300. Wait for Gump, Gump Response 300, save, play. Just for reference, the other items on this screen, mark for item is 14, back is 15, and create item is 16. So if we wanted to create a long way to create a chainmail Gorget, we will say Gump Response 300, and we will also wait for Gump, Gump Response 16. Save, play. This will create a Gorget. If you want to craft something that's on the next page Gump Response is 9, previous is 8. So for example, if we want to craft something on page 2, we would say Gump Response 9, wait for Gump, and this starts at 100 again. So 100, 101, 102. Let's click add-ons, for example. And then from here, it restarts again. So this is 200, 201, 202, 300, 301, 302. There are some categories that actually have multiple pages on the secondary thing, like aspect items, for example. So if we were going to talk about this from a script, it is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is 108. Select. And as you can see, there's another page button here. That page button is 13. 13, 12 for previous. 13. And then this again is 200, 201, 202, 300, 301, 302. I'm going to show an example of how to go to that page 2 from a script. I'm going to copy this and say crafting, new, test aspect. Okay, we'll paste that in. We're going to follow the same code. We'll wait for the Gump. Instead of the Gump Response 101, we're going to want the Gump Response to be 108, which is aspect item. From there, we're going to select page 2, which is 11. If we hit save and play on that, we should be on page 2. And then again, this would be, let's say, void aspect 1, 2, 3. So 303. 303. Save. Play. Once you learn the structure of the menu, calling it from the script is pretty easy. To break down the bottom area of the crafting Gump, 2 is recycle type, 3 is begin recycle, 4 is repair item, 5 is highlight skill gain, 6 is hide, show insufficient skill, and 7 is make last. If you want to change material via script, that's 12 for previous and 13. Since we now know that make last item Gump Response is 7, let's create a simple script to make the last item of whatever we made. You can use this script as a hotkey the next time you simply want to craft something again and again. We'll copy and paste this again. Crafting, new. We'll name this make last. You can either remove the restock agent or keep it there. Just for the simplicity of this script, I'm going to remove that. We will still want to double click a item that we have in our bag. Wait for the crafting Gump 94, 90, 95, 101. And instead of Gump Response 101, we're just going to say Gump Response 7. If we delete this, save, set it as a hotkey. I'm going to use the number 1 on my number pad, set. If I come back to here and I hit 1, it attempted to make the last item, which happened to be a chainmail Gorget. Now that we understand how to interact with the crafting menu, let's make sure we're crafting the right item based on skills. We'll head back over to our main smith script, and this is crafting a Gorget the long way, selecting chainmail armor, chainmail Gorget, and clicking create item. We can save a step here by actually clicking the response 200 here. Let's update our script. We want to select category 101 and Gump Response 200. We can remove the secondary wait. I hit save, play. How do you know which items you want to make? There's actually on the wiki, Outlands, wiki, blacksmithing, they had down at the bottom here training. So from 50 to 65, we want to go chainmail gorget, 65 to 70 gloves, etc. So we're going to start by saying we need to make sure that we're in skill 50 to 65 for chainmail gorget. We can check our skill from inside of Razor by using the skill keyword. So before we start crafting something, we're going to say if skill blacksmith is greater than or equal to 50 and skill blacksmith is less than 65, and if. And we're going to move our creation of the item to that tab. We'll also add a little bit of visual feedback by saying overhead gorget. Save, play. Now that we have our one skill block check, let's add one more using an else if statement. I've copied over the builds from the wiki here. Again, 65 to 75 will be chainmail gauntlet or gloves. So we'll say else if skill blacksmith, or actually we're just going to copy and paste. Come on, Jason. Else if blacksmith is greater than 65 and less than 70. Let's say overhead gloves. If we wanted to fill this in, the Gump response will be instead of 101, sorry, it will still be 101 because it's chainmail, and the gloves are 201. Save. Let's just fill the rest of this in here. Else. Okay, if we save, we play this, correctly creating a gorget. Now that we have all our skills filled in blocks, is there a way to recycle the items we're creating from the Razor script? There's two ways to do that, by doing a single item type or by doing your entire backpack. It's much easier to just do your entire backpack, but that will require you to make sure you don't have any items beyond the smith hammer and ingots in your backpack. But let's cover that example. If you remember, the items down here are Gump Response 3 to begin recycling. If I manually move this over to recycle entire backpack, and we do Gump Response 3, it will actually warn us that's saying we're going to recycle anything you have in your backpack. Are you sure? Click yourself to proceed. So let's do that from the script menu. The first thing we want to do is re-click our hammer to make sure that we actually have a hammer in our backpack. Our hammer could potentially break on that last one, so this is just to be safe. Double click type hammer from our backpack. Wait for the crafting gump 94, 90, 95, 101. And then we want to click the Gump Response 3. Wait for target. Hotkey target self. We save this and we hit play. It will attempt to make a gorget and it will recycle the items. What happened there is we actually recycled before the crafting finished. So we'll want to add a wait period of 2.5 seconds. I don't know how much crafting is. 3 seconds? Wait period of 3 seconds before attempting to recycle. Let's try again. 3 seconds is too short. Let's go 5 seconds. And 5 seconds is too long. Let's do 4 seconds. How do we make sure we have enough supplies for our script to keep running? We can use counts to accomplish that. Let's make a new script for testing purposes called count example. Click crafting, new, count example. And let's attempt to display an overhead message if we have less than 200 ingots in our bag. If count ingots is less than 200, overhead less than, and if. Oh, helps if I spell overhead correctly. We're gonna hit save and play. We actually get a script error saying that ingots doesn't exist. So let's create that variable. If we click on display counters and counters, click add. It's going to ask us for the name, format, item ID, and color. We can click target, click on our ingots. That fills in the color and the item ID. The name, we'll name it ingots. And the format will be ingots. Say OK. Now scroll down to where we created ingots. Find it in here and click the check mark. If you don't click the check mark, the ingots count is never refreshed and your script will actually error. So now that that's check marked, we should see that it has a count correctly, 97, which matches our count in our backpack. So we'll head on over to our script, save and play, less than. So we have a counter of ingots, but we also want to check to make sure that we have a smith hammer in our bag. We'll stay in our count example and just try the script out. We're going to basically say, hey, if not find type hammer in our backpack, overhead no hammer break. If I save and play that, it doesn't happen. If I put the hammer into our bank and I hit play, I actually get the no hammer message. So we'll want to move this script over to the top of our Restock agent. And this will basically say if we run into this, the rest of the script won't run. If you remember, our Restock agent puts a hammer in our backpack, so the only time that should run is if we didn't get a hammer. So the next thing we can do is check to see if we have enough ingots to actually craft something. So what we can do is we can say if count ingots is less than 20, overhead no ingots break, and if. Let's close the Gump here again down at the bottom just to make sure that things are working correctly. Create an item, recycle item. Okay, so as you can see, I'm still clicking the play button. So let's just loop this down at the very bottom of the script. Loop, save, play. So as I was running this to check to make sure it still worked, it actually gets stuck at certain points. It ended up being that the Restock agent took 0.6 seconds, so I moved this to 1 second. Also, if the hammer broke at the very last creation, the script would actually error saying there was no hammer found. So I also needed to add a find type of hammer in our backpack before we attempted a recycle. So just to go through the script one more time, at the very start, we close Restock Agent 3, which gives us a hammer and ingots. If we can't find a hammer, escape the script. If we can't find ingots, escape the script. Double click the smith hammer, create that amazing Gump ID. Choose what you're going to create based on your blacksmithing skill. Wait for 4 seconds. You might be able to tweak this. I was okay waiting for 4 seconds. If you're in a hurry, you might be able to do 3 or 3.5, I'm not sure. Close the Gump. Again, that was just for visual reference. And then if we have a smith hammer in our backpack, try to recycle items. Alright, well anyway, hope this works out for you guys. Let me know in the comments whether you try it, like it, hate it, love it. Also what you want to see next. This was a big video. Thanks for watching. Peace.